What is going on, snipers? Naeem Al-Obeidi here. I hope you're all enjoying your day today. Let's go ahead and just dive right into our daily cryptocurrency content and analysis for today. And I'm sorry we didn't post a video or do a live stream yesterday. I'm having a little bit of technical difficulties, and this is going to be a short video as well. But I wanted to give you guys an update on what's happening with Bitcoin so we can take a look at the technical analysis. So let's just dive right into it right here. We're going to be taking a look at the RSI first and foremost because we've been watching this for quite a while. It's how we predicted this breakout. And we remember that 60 here is a very crucial point for this RSI, and we need to stay above this in order to maintain these bullish levels. And you can see how we are now starting to retrace back down with the RSI, and that's why, in my opinion, it's extremely uncertain right now where Bitcoin is headed. And in my opinion, based on the looks of this, is heading down. However, we can very well see some support and then see some higher prices, higher RSI levels, and then initiating that bullish RSI trend. What we really want to ideally see here is for this RSI to go ahead and bounce right here immediately, going back up, and then hopefully finding support along 60, because anywhere here is extremely bullish and is going to indicate higher price levels. But as soon as you start to see this RSI dip below 60, it's going to be a little bit more hectic here, because now this right here could eventually form the start to a lower trend, which wouldn't be good, obviously, for the overall market. So that's what I'm watching right now for the RSI. You can see the MACD is also showing it's curving a little bit. The buyers have already come into the market. There may very well be another slight descent in price before we see higher price levels. Remember, we're following this positive divergence right now with the MACD. That's one of the good things about this pattern. It's the fact that regardless of if we see another pullback, it's completely healthy in my opinion. We just need to at least bounce off of this positive diverging ascending support line, and if we can do that, in my opinion, it's going to set us up for a very good time in May of 2018. So we're going to take some user requests as well, and we're also going to take a look at a little bit of a closer idea of what we're seeing here. Now, you can see how we've went right back above these known resistance levels, back over 9,000, which is very good, but we're now seeing a little bit of some resistance. And like I said, the RSI, in my opinion, at this point is one of the most the strongest indicator to watch right now, regardless of where the price levels are at. Now, one good thing I want you to see here is the fact that we are seeing an increase in volume. So this increase in volume is showing that we're seeing that accumulation occur with Bitcoin, which is something that we've wanting to see, because understand, with these huge buy volume bars and prices heading so high up in such a short amount of time, we need a period of accumulation, is what we call it, where the market is able to buy up this asset at these price levels without seeing this asset fall at lower price levels. So let's see if we have any questions from our live audience here for the Bitcoin technical analysis before we take any other requests here. Somebody says, Naeem, you look lonely today. I've been working all day on my computer trying to fix things. I literally had to go get a new laptop. Man, I hate technical difficulties. Who here hates technical difficulties? Say yes. Tipper said, like. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Zeke, he says, first time able to watch live. Do XRP, please. All right, Zeke, because it's your first time, brother, let's do XRP BTC here and take a look at Ripple. Let's see if we're seeing any difference here. We can see we find some very strong support levels right along that 8,952 Satoshi mark. It looks like we're following this channel here. We're starting to see this act as a support level with a little bit of some increase of volume from what we saw previously. It looks like the MACD is also crossing on the 4-hour, which is extremely bullish for the short term. Let's go to the 1-day chart and see if we're seeing the same thing here with this MACD. Actually, it's the complete opposite. We're actually going right down to that slow length. What would be ideal here is if this MACD were to bounce off of this and start to curve back up, that would be extremely bullish for Ripple, but I doubt that happened, because if you look here with this histogram, you can see how we've dropped off with all of those buyers. Remember, a couple days ago, there were almost 92% of the 92% of the market were filled with buyers, which was interesting. One cool thing here is you can see finding a little bit of support here, but we've already dropped below 60, so this is a better indicator that we're heading down for Ripple, and maybe we can use these indicators as a slight indication of where the overall market's going too. So it's interesting that we're seeing Ripple about to consolidate. In my opinion, we're going to bounce down to that 50-day moving average. If you see this red line here, that's the 50-day. It would be the best point, in my opinion, to go ahead and get your position back into Ripple. So in my opinion, we're going to be seeing lower price levels here. It just looks like looks like it's going down. I mean, it just, you know, with the looks of the MACD, on the 4-hour it looks bullish, but on the 1-day, which is stronger, it looks very bearish. So I think we'll correct back down to levels of right around 5,491 Satoshis. And at that point, I think that would be the best time to get in. Or is that 8,500? Sorry, my screen here. Trying to make sure I can see it. Ramsey says, Naeem, Lisk. Let's do Lisk. All right, let's do Lisk. Steven Vaughan says Lisk. Let's do Lisk. BTC Lisk. Under the 200-day moving average. This looks a little bit better here. You can see we're in a neutral RSI zone. This actually doesn't look too bad. Remember that 60 acted as resistance, which isn't a bad thing. It's just means that it's not yet into that bullish zone, but you can still play the RSI within these neutral zones here for Lisk. Let's go ahead and draw out this other support line. So 40 is the other support you want to watch with RSI. Anything under 40 would be considered completely oversold. So looking at this, we seem to have some pretty good support here in the RSI. I mean, if you were to put in a position in Lisk right now, looking at this MACD here, you can see it's also trying to bounce off of that slow length. If it starts to descend under that, I would expect some lower price levels. But so far from what we're seeing right now in the RSI, if you were to put a position, have your stop loss set right under that 40 in RSI level. So just in case it starts to dip below and hits that 39, 38 level, you know already to exit, because you can see what happened before. As soon as we went under 40, you saw how it dipped all the way back down here. So that's what I would be watching right now for a coin like Lisk. Now it's under the 200-day moving average. It's looking like it's acting as resistance. That's not a good thing. It's very bearish in my opinion. So at this point, I wouldn't personally put in a position here. It doesn't look like there's upside than downside. We're at this complete downtrend right now. And not only that, you can see here, even right now, we're finding some support right along these known support levels. But at the end of the day, it's still showing some bearish signs, and that could easily start dropping down. As soon as that MACD crosses down, that's a very bearish sign. MACD crossovers could either be bullish or bearish. If it's bullish, it's crossing over from the other side. That's what we're watching for in terms of that. Crypto Knight King said ICX. I'm glad you said ICX. ICX is a very good project. I'm becoming more and more bullish about ICX. But the reason I did not initiate a position in ICX is because I saw this cup and handle forming. So this is a beautiful cup and handle here. If you don't know what a cup and handle is, we have a Discord resource. This is actually free. I don't have it pulled up. It's my new computer, but the link is in the description below. A cup and handle forms where you see this trend start with an uptrend. So you can see how we have this uptrend here, and then we have this cup form. And then now that we're seeing resistance, it's going to start to drop in price levels. And then the handle is what's going to initiate that breakout. So I think ICX is going to form this cup and handle. And I think that's where we're going to see the breakout. And it's just showing a lot of signs of another pullback. I mean, the market in general is showing a lot of signs of another pullback. I mean, it would just make sense. You can see we found some very strong resistance right here at 4,600 Satoshis. So not saying that Icon is a bad project. I think it's a great project. But if you were to buy in, the best time to buy in a cup and handle is at the handle where the breakout occurs. So I wouldn't say it's a good time to get in just yet. If it does cross this resistance level, then you might as well get your position in and ride that breakout up, because there's not really any other resistance levels up until these higher highs. So you'll have a lot of room to go there. And let's pull up the one-day chart really quick just to confirm our analysis here. So you can see we're pretty overbought here, over 60 right now. We're heading down in RSI. MACD doesn't look too bad. It's still heading a little bit up, but you can see it's starting to struggle a little bit. It's not too sharp. We're not seeing that sharpness that we saw here. So you can see we're starting to level off here with the buyers. So also looking a little bit more bearish than most of the other coins. J Martyr 384 says, NEO, please. Let's go ahead and do NEO Bitcoin. Check out NEO here. So on the one-day chart, you can see NEO is actually right on that 50, 100, and 200-day moving average, which is good. Looks like it's finding support on the 200-day, but it's still under that 50-day moving average. So this is actually a pretty interesting point for NEO, because if you look back here, previously, as soon as we dropped below that 50-day moving average, we went really low. And right now, we're still under that 50-day moving average. So that's not a good sign just yet. And even with the MACD here, look at that. It just crossed under. That's bearish right there, extremely bearish. You can see here as well, we found some resistance right at around 60. It's not always going to be perfect, but you can see if we were to draw at 60, you can see we pretty much found resistance right before that bullish zone in RSI. And now we're starting to head down. And in my opinion, everything is looking bearish here for NEO as well. You can see volume starting to see that negative divergence, which isn't always a bad thing, depending on the type of pattern that's forming and other indicators like the RSI and the MACD and how you can correlate those together. Harry says, Stellar about to pass Cardano. Yes. Dapper Crypto says, Saya coin to the moon. Camo World says, could you share when you use 1 day versus 4 hour, etc., and why? Curious, since you switch between the two often, but sometimes they can tell different stories, even 1 hour. Yeah, they can tell different stories. So like, for example, if you right click insert indicator and you insert the 3 moving averages, for example, right? You have these 3 moving averages and you can actually open these up and alter the settings, right? So you've got the 50, 100, and 200, but it doesn't say the day, right? It says length. Why? Because if you're on a 1 day chart, you're looking at the 50-day length. So that's the 50-day moving average. But if you're looking at the 1 hour chart, that length now turns into the 50 hour, right? Or the 100 hour, the 200 hour. So that's why they look different. But the point is, the further you are from your chart, the more strength that chart has. The closer you are to the chart, the more of a short-term price analysis that you could infer based upon a 1 hour or 4 hour chart versus a 1 day chart where you can have a longer term price analysis. So hopefully that makes a little bit of sense. Ammo. Let's see here. Somebody says XLM, please. Let's do XLM Stellar. Let's see if we can find anything that's bullish right now, because there are a couple bullish patterns in the market, right? We just have to know where they are, because understand the market's not always going to follow Bitcoin, right? There's certain coins that will follow the inverse. Sorry for it being white. Typically this is black, but like I said, I'm on a new computer. Now, looking at the overall market though, before we do this stellar technical analysis, what I want you to realize is we've still got some coins here that have a potential of seeing higher price levels even if all of the altcoins pull back. One of those coins would be Verge here. I would be watching Verge, because understand the Verge partnership, it created a lot of fear, uncertainty, and doubt that drove Verge's price down, and it's been completely oversold in my opinion. It has more intrinsic value than it did before the sell-off, so there's a possible breakout that could occur here, even if the whole market pulls back, right? Typically when you see a red wave in the market, right, you always see those green coins that just come out of nowhere, right? So I think Verge is one to watch. Lisk is another one to watch. I mean, Lisk is a great project. You can see it's only, what, 5% up in the past 24 hours? It's not even up in the last 7 days. It's actually negative. So I think that's something to watch, right? Another coin here, Populous. I'm not as big of a fan as of P. I haven't done as much research, but you can see down 2%. Don't worry about Dogecoin. You're not that. It was literally created as a joke early in 2013. So yeah, we wouldn't want to get there. Komodo though, look at Komodo. It's down in the last 7 days. Great project. First use case of atomic swaps. So I'd be watching Komodo. I'd be watching coins here. Komodo and the other two that we just talked about, which I can't even about it anymore. Verge and Lisk. So those are the 3 I'd be watching right now. We'll do some technical analysis if you guys would like on some of the XLM though. Stellar, awesome coin run by Jed McCaleb, former co-founder of Ripple. He went ahead and said, Ripple, you guys are trying to work with the banks. I want to bank the unbanked. And he went and much forked it, created Stellar, and now Stellar is a prominent project. And if you don't know who Jed McCaleb is, he's been extremely prominent and successful in the cryptocurrency space for a very long time. You know, he started MT Gox in around 2000 and had a huge hack, but he wasn't even the CEO at the time. He started it. It was the largest exchange, and then he sold it, and then a year later it was hacked. So he's had some very good projects in his career. So Stellar is one of those. You can see we're forming this beautiful, beautiful rounding bottom here. If you don't know what a rounding bottom is, it's a little bit similar to a cup and handle, but you come from a downtrend. Now we're starting to form a little bit of a handle. Looks like we're seeing a little bit of that pull up now. RSI actually looking pretty bullish. We're bouncing right off of that slow length. We're seeing an increase in volume, at least in this histogram here. And we're also seeing a very, very healthy volume in comparison to what we saw here in February and March. So that's very good to see here. RSI looking extremely bullish on this. We're still heading back up to these overbought levels. Typically what you'll see is whenever you have these huge breakouts, especially these large cups, you can see up and handle here. Rounding bottom forming here too. Went up. Looks like we saw a little bit of exuberance. So this could very well follow this pattern here, start seeing some higher highs. this might be the one opportunity that we can find here. Why don't we do some Fibonacci retracements here to verify that this would be a possible breakout here. Let's actually look at the lows and the highs and see. So the Fibonacci retracement will give you a good idea of potential support and levels. You can see we found support here, and we're heading back up to this resistance. So knowing that we're heading back to this very strong resistance level, in my opinion, I wouldn't put in a position until we pass this, because it's called buying the confirmation or buying the breakout. If you're a technical analyst, you know what I'm talking about. And that means that instead of trying to get a position here because you anticipate the breakout, what you'll do is you'll risk a very small percentage, right? So if we were to go on the 4 hour, let's even go on the 1 hour here. Let's see what percentage of risk there is for not buying the breakout, right? So there's like a very small percentage of risk. So if we were to buy here, what, 2% risk? So you're okay with losing 2%, but what ends up happening is you know for a fact that it is going to break out because it passes this mark of a known resistance, which eventually will inverse and turn into a support. So that's what buying the breakout is. So I would wait and see, if you want to get in Stellar, wait to see if you can get it right around 4,500. And so hopefully that works. Ramsey still says 200 likes for a new suit. Let's do this. Thank you, Ramsey. That means a lot, man, that the fans are trying to get likes for us. That really means a lot. Crypto Brad says, EOS, man, glad to see your channel grow. Thank you, brother. Let's do EOS, Crypto Brad. EOS is killing it. I mean, this is one of the coins I am extremely bullish on. Let me share a little nugget with some of you. I was actually with a friend of mine, very successful entrepreneur here in California, very, very successful, and very connected with a lot of the crypto guys out here. And yeah, I asked him, I was like, what's your portfolio look like? I always ask that question, right? So I can bring all of you knowledge and wisdom. He said, dude, to be honest with you, 80% of my portfolio is EOS right now. Just saying, he actually, I think he's had some connections with Brock Pierce, because Brock Pierce is pretty prominent here in California. But I'm telling you, EOS is making its move. It's seeing time highs right now. That is exciting, because when you see these type of patterns form, you just don't know how high they're going to go, right? We see these levels of volume, which is a big deal. The one concerning thing is the RSI is starting to dip down. It's not a good entry point in my opinion. You don't want to have any FOMO. There's also a disease called the fear of missing out, right? And you don't want to have that. You want to be able to stay level-headed and understand that if you do miss out on an opportunity, there's always going to be opportunities in the market. There's never a shortage of opportunities. When has the market ever said, no, there's no more opportunities? Think about like a time in the market where you felt that way, right? Maybe in December, you felt that way, right? But what ended up happening? Markets went back down, and there was still a plethora of opportunities. So never feel as if there's a lack of opportunities. Always know that there's an abundance, right? Have an abundance mentality. That's what my mentor used to always tell me. He's like, Naeem, have an abundance mentality. If you have an abundance mentality, you're going to be blessed. Why don't we bless the audience really quick? Do a book giveaway. If we hit 200 likes, we'll do a book giveaway here. Instead of just giving, why don't we ask for something first? We got 93 right now. If y'all want to do a book giveaway, let's hit 200 likes. We're not going to do it then until we hit 200. So let's look at EOS. Knowing that we're seeing all-time highs, it's going to be hard to predict things, but you can see this beautiful fractal pattern here. Or actually, it's a cup and handle. I mean, you can see how this baby formed, went right up, found its resistance, the handle, went straight up. That's how a cup and handle works, right? It's a classic pattern. If you don't know what a cup and handle looks like, we'll actually Google it. See exactly how these patterns form, where you got that breakout, right? You've got that breakout here, that handle. That's where you want to enter your position. See if they tell you here where to enter the position. Oh yeah, look, that blue. See, the blue is where you want to enter, right? Buying the breakout like we talked about earlier. So knowing that we're seeing this breakout at this point, we're obviously seeing exuberant levels. MACD is way overstretched. I just don't see us going a lot higher. I'm going to expect a pullback. I mean, there's no way I'm going to say go ahead and put a position in myself. I mean, just think about it. Like, it just makes sense, right? There's going to be a pullback, and I think that's when we can get those lower price levels. If we see further exuberance, then so be it. I just don't think that's going to be possible. I mean, unless you guys want to break my RSI chart here, then no reason for it to go higher, right? So if you're getting your EOS profits right now, feel free to take your profits. I think a lot of people will take their profits, and we might not see a major pullback, but I think we'll definitely see a pullback, right? So that helps up a little bit. Somebody says Apollo cryptocurrency. I don't have much time. I do have to head out soon. I do have a meeting. I'm working on our trade signals and trend analysis and our technical analysts and our platform. Like, we're doing a ton of stuff on the back end. So we want to make sure that we can provide you all the best possible service. Somebody says, what's up, snipers? Can we go more in depth on NEBL? Love the trade alerts. Just trying to learn while I earn. KMD to the moon. Thank you, Lawrence. Good to have you on our subscription platform. And yeah, I'd love to take a look at that. Let's go ahead and pull up NEBL. What's going on here. So we had a trade alert today. If you guys don't know, we do trade signals on patreon.com/sniper. This was a trade signal that we sent out earlier today. I don't think that we've already hit profit zone on this one yet, so we can go ahead and discuss this. But we have an entry zone here. The reason I sent this one out is you can see up and handle forming up here. We've got this initial breakout trend. We've got this form, expecting to see a little bit of resistance. But I would most likely expect us to find support right along here and then head higher up. That was really my analysis for this one. What we'll do here, so I don't mess up this trade alert, is actually pull up another chart here just to show you why I'm expecting some exuberance in NEBL. So, oh, well, there's another trade. Like, that didn't do anything. Let's see if somebody wants to win a book. Mito ICO says book. We haven't hit 200 likes yet. We can't give away a book. I'm a man of my words. We're at 140. If we hit 150, we'll do it. That's 9 more. How about that? So, whatever. We'll just use this chart. Let's just clear this out. So, pulling up. Oh, no, this was BTC. Oh, my gosh. Come on, Naeem. What am I doing? Let's do the 4-hour here. So, oh, wow. Look at that. Pattern. Let's move back a little bit. That looks like a head and shoulder top, but that's not. Consider that head and shoulders. So you can see here. Let's do the 1-day chart so we can see the cup and handle first. Yeah, we're heading up right here. Up. Consolidation, not much. If I were you at this point, keeping an allocation small is important, because even with all of these price levels at where they're at, you can see how we're still testing these really levels here. Let's draw this. Yeah, we're in the neutral zone right now. So anything in the neutral zone, you want to play it by the year. You never want to go all in on the neutral zone because you don't know. But the one good thing about NEBL is we're seeing this. I think this increase in volume is going to further indicate that we're going to see further increase in volume over time. And I think that volume right there is going to be able to justify higher price levels. As you know, I mean, we've seen very high price levels with NEBL. Time highs, it hit over, looks to be 5,756. Right now we're sitting at right around 14,000. So we've got such a long way to go here. And I think we're just starting this uptrend. If you actually draw this channel, get this beautiful uptrend. Had that reversal, that double bottom here. So that's what I like about NEBL. And we're going to wrap this baby up soon. I do have to head out. Somebody says, Mike Cutting. Sorry about that. Somebody says, 24 likes, guys. We hit 150. So let's go ahead and do a book giveaway, right? What is the, let's see, what is the volume, what is it called when you see volume descending? What type of divergence is that? When you see volume descending, like if we were to draw this out right here, what is this right here? What type of divergence is that? Certain type of divergence. Lee Paeva, he says negative divergence. You win, brother. That's a negative divergence. So there's positive divergence and negative divergence, right? So if you were to Google divergence, the process of diverging. Is there any like actual divergence? Positive. I like doing Google so that people see divergence, right? Look at that. Negative divergence. negative divergence, positive divergence. So that's what divergence is. Here's a negative divergence, positive. So good for you guys. All right, I am out of here. Thank you all for tuning in, and we will have a live stream tomorrow. Things should be doing a lot better, and it was a pleasure, all of you today. Thank you for tuning in. I'm going to get all these technical issues figured out, but like always, snipers out.